So recently there's been more and more rumours surrounding UFC 5, and one rumour in particular keeps popping up time and time again, like their toxic ex that you just can't get rid of. And this rumour is becoming more and more concerning and more worrying the more times I see it. And it's this single rumour that we're going to be talking about in this video. So without further ado, I don't want to waste any more of your time like a gay pride parade. Let's dive balls deep into this content. So what's the rumour that's got me tossing and turning during the night more than a crack addict who's just gone cold turkey? Well, it's the rumour that UFC 5 will be coming out by the end of 2021. I did my research and many articles are saying the same thing about how UFC 5 could potentially be coming out between November or December 2021. Now, most of these articles were raw at the start of 2021, but even a recent article from the 20th of July still claims that UFC 5 could be released in November/December of 2021. So before we talk about why this particular rumor is worrying and why this could be bad news in general for the UFC series, let's talk about where this rumor possibly could have stemmed from. The first reason this rumor might have got started is because of UFC signing a 10-year deal with EA to make more UFC games. And apparently EA want to move UFC from a game that's released every 2 years to an annually released game like other sport games that they make, such as Madden and FIFA. The second reason is because UFC 4 isn't coming out on next gen, so it's led people to believe that EA are working on UFC 5 for the next generation consoles. Plus the fact that UFC 4 is so bad that it was probably intentionally rushed for current generation so they could quickly work on UFC 5 for next generation. The third reason is because of the rumours of UFC 5 being currently in development. And the fourth and final reason why this rumour might have more fire than it should is because recently EA seem to have stopped supporting UFC 4, or if they haven't fully stopped supporting it yet, they will in the upcoming months, as EA usually work on the game for about a year, updating it, tuning it, and then after a year, once the game's been out for a full year, they usually abandon it and go on to make the other game, which will be UFC 5 in this case. They did it with UFC 3, they worked on it for a year, and then after that they started to hone down on UFC 4, so I expect the same thing with UFC 4 to UFC 5. But let's be honest for a second, right? No amount of updates can fix UFC 4. They could work on it for 40 years and the game still will be trash. No amount of updates is fixing UFC 4. Not even flex tape can fix UFC 4. It's a lost cause. So when I see that people are saying that EA have abandoned support for UFC 4, it doesn't surprise me. I'd give up too if I was EA. Now, let's talk about why this particular rumour is worrying to me. The first big reason is because if EA can't even get UFC 4 right after 3 years of development, 2 years of it actually being in development and a year of development updates, then what in the Michelangelo hell makes them think they can nail a fully fleshed out UFC title in a year? Impossible is a word that I rarely use and I don't like using, but this seems impossible. I have more faith in Jesus Christ coming back to earth with a goth girl for me than I do of EA making good MMA games consistently every year. It doesn't seem possible unless they've expanded their team and increased their budget, but this is EA. I doubt they have. If this does happen, then what's worrying about this is the UFC series will slowly but surely turn into the FIFA series, where it's the same game every year with just a few updates to make it appear brand new. And this is terrible news if you're a UFC fan, because this means we're going to constantly have to spend £40 just to receive the latest fighters and the latest updates with minimal gameplay improvements as well as minimal graphic improvements. And another reason this is increasingly worrying is because this will show EA's true intentions, which will be greed. And when a company becomes greedy, then what they try and do is make as much money as possible with as little effort as possible, which then means the UFC game series quality will plummet and plummet and plummet and plummet. If this was the cha-cha slide, I'd be asking EA, how low can you go? Can you go down low? All the way to the flow? How low can you go? Can you bring it to the top? No, you cannot. UFC 4 sucks cock. Alright, I'll stop. But in all seriousness, how low can you go? You've got UFC 4, and then how low can you go? Hashtag how low can you go? And tweet EA at the same time, how low can you go? I pray this rumour isn't true, because we're just going to get the same recycled garbage, just smacked with a different label and a different cover, which I do not want. I'd rather EA, honestly, this is my honest opinion, and I guarantee people feel the same way, I'd rather EA not release a UFC game for 5 years and really work on one good MMA game and then drop it. I'd rather have that than this 2-year cycle or a 1-year cycle. That is much better, because I think what UFC needs is a hard reboot right now. And the reason EA are most likely going to be doing this is obviously because of money and because of their contract. They got a 10-year contract with UFC, so they're either going to milk the hell out of this contract and try and get as many games as possible out in this contract, or they're going to try and milk us for our money and be like, yo, pay 40 quid for an update, and dumb boys will do this, people will do this, and EA know people will do this. But I leave it to you guys. The power is in your hands now. Do you believe this rumour? Let me know your thoughts. What's going on in that beautiful brain of yours? Do you believe this rumour? I'm on the fence. I do and I don't, right? I do because it sounds very like EA, but at the same time, I don't believe it because EA followed a very strict schedule when it comes to dropping UFC games, and it doesn't seem reasonable to change that now. And I don't see any reason to break that pattern. We've had one bad game, well, 2 bad games technically, but that's no reason to abandon the game plan and abandon this schedule that you've got going. So me personally, I don't really believe it. 70% of me believes it, but that 30% that does believe it keeps creeping and it keeps making me worry. But I hope it's not true for the sake of it not being true. I don't want this to happen. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. I've been THEAR. I put THEAR inside your heart. I'm out. Bye.